Hi everyone, and welcome back to my Consultant Explorer channel. I'm Charlie, and I'm here to help you explore the early career years of management consulting, help you to be successful at it, and show you how to make the most of the opportunities that it opens up for you. I spent 8.5 years at Accenture, building the most incredible launchpad for my own career. And now that I'm running my own businesses, I can choose what I work on, whenever and wherever I want to in the world. And that is the kind of freedom that I can help you find in your journey, which starts just as mine did in management consulting. In this video, I'm going to talk about something that as consultants and as ambitious people, we all care about the most, and that is how to get promoted as quickly as possible. I'm not going to cover promotion criteria for every career level because that criteria evolves and it's different across all the consulting firms. Instead, I'm going to focus on the performance process and how best to work it. And that process is broadly the same across all the different consulting firms. Different consultancies have different performance cycles, but generally the culture in consulting is twofold. On the one hand, you get informal feedback much more regularly, something like weekly or even daily. On the other hand, the more formal performance review process happens less regularly, but still frequently, either quarterly or biannually. Generally, consultancies are moving towards more regular, informal feedback because the sooner you're given the opportunity to learn and grow, the faster you make the changes that you need to make. It gives everyone the maximum possible chances of being really good at their job. It's difficult to run the more formal performance review processes as regularly as you can give feedback, just due to the nature of those review processes and everything that they involve. But consultancies do run these processes as regularly as they can. Consultancies have also spent a lot of time designing performance review processes in such a way that it's very difficult to game the system, because it's important to them that they reward meritocratically the individuals that are doing a great job. So I'm not going to claim that it's possible to get ahead of your peers by gaming the system. But what I will do in this video is outline 5 things that you can do to make sure that you are as successful as possible in those performance review processes, because very often individuals don't know to do these 5 things. So starting with rule 1, always prioritize your client work. Here's why. Ultimately, you are the product that your consulting firm sells, and so you need to operate as that product in order for your firm to generate revenue as a business. To operate as a product, you need to be working in a paid client role, doing a great job. Even better if you're doing such a good job that your client keeps wanting to extend you because they see you as so critical to their work. The more great client work that you're doing, the more revenue you're generating for your firm, i.e., the more products your firm is being able to sell. This means that how you perform in your client role is more important than any extracurricular responsibilities that you might have, no matter how important any extracurricular responsibility sounds. Extracurricular responsibilities are usually important because they help to upskill employees, or they help to create reusable content for other client projects, or they help to sell more work. They generally help others within your firm do their jobs well, which is obviously important. But none of that is more important for you than doing your direct client work, which is being paid for by a client every single day. Because if people aren't doing their client work, then your firm isn't going to generate any money. So the best place for you to focus your primary efforts is in doing a great job in your client work, and you really can't go wrong if you're doing this. However, there are also ways that you can capitalize on this faster in terms of promotion, which we'll cover in rules 2 to 5. Next, rule 2. Know the promotion criteria and demonstrate already the behaviors required for the career level above yours. So first you need to actually find the criteria. Usually you can find it under some sort of performance section within your firm's internal portal. And if you can't find it, then go to your counsellor, i.e. the person who's responsible for representing your progress at performance reviews. They should be able to point you to where you can find it or to give it to you directly. Once you have the criteria, make sure you really understand it all. You need to know exactly how to translate what it's saying is required into what you can do in your day-to-day job. If you can't do that translation, then you should speak to your counsellor about it and they should help you figure it out. They should know it because they've been through that career level jump themselves already. Often the criteria in consulting can be much softer than in industry because consulting is a people business. Lots of the required behaviours of consultants as they progress up the ladder are relating to soft skills, or in other words, people skills. So translating that criteria into examples can help you to really visualize how you might be able to demonstrate those right behaviors. It might be that your client role doesn't provide you with the opportunity to demonstrate all of the behaviors that are required by the criteria that you need to meet. If that's the case, then extracurricular responsibilities can provide that opportunity. Yes, as I said in Rule 1, they should never be prioritized over and above your client work, but they can play an important part in your career story if they need to. That brings us on to the next rule, Rule 3. Know how to tell your story. I have another video on this topic, so if you'd like the detailed version, including with examples, then head on over to that. But in summary here, learning how to tell your story is one of the most impactful things you will ever learn to do when it comes to your progression. There is a really big difference between listing out the facts of what you've worked on or what you've achieved and really letting your listeners feel your progress and believe in the future you're headed towards. It's through the power of stories, which include information about your journey, about your intentions, about your ambitions and passions, that we connect with the emotions of others, which is highly important when it comes to performance reviews. The people listening in to your career story and performance reviews may never have worked with you or even met you, and so telling a great career story is the only way to motivate and inspire them to back you and to push for your promotion. Okay, that ties us neatly into Rule 4. Know those who will be involved in the performance review sessions. There are a number of people who will be involved in the end-to-end performance review process that evaluates your progress and makes a promotion decision. From the person who helps you craft your story, to the people who evaluate your progress within the context of that of your peers, to the people who assess all promotion candidates against affordability within the business. Typically, the person who helps you craft your story is your counsellor. The people who evaluate your progress versus your peers are your seniors from your department or maybe other departments. And then the people who assess all promotion candidates against affordability within the business are the leaders of the market and the departments within it. Rule 3 is more important than Rule 4. If your story is strong enough, then it shouldn't matter whether any of the people involved in the performance review process know you or not. But if they do know you, either because they've worked with you or because they've already heard great things about you, then it's always a bonus. In the performance review sessions that I attended, we were trained on the human biases that treat familiar candidates more beneficially than unfamiliar candidates. And that training is a really good thing. But there is no denying the fact that it is a fundamental human trait to recognize the familiar and to be subconsciously more amenable to it. Okay, that brings us to the final rule, Rule 5. Appreciate the influence of external factors. In Rule 4, we touched on the various phases of the performance review process, each involving more and more senior people. And we talked about the final phase being an affordability assessment, one which answers the question, how many promotions is this business doing well enough to support moving forwards? The point of this Rule 5 is that it's a bit of a reality check. Regardless of how well you may have performed as an individual, if your company is really struggling, then it may not be able to promote you. I actually saw one year where there was a decision globally not to promote anyone at manager level on the basis of how tough the market was at that point. There were so many people at that manager level who were absolutely ready to be promoted, who had been demonstrating the behaviours of the level above for a really long time, and who ultimately were disappointed with the outcome, and understandably so. So it's always worth bearing in mind that there are external factors that can affect how likely it is that you're going to get promoted. And so being generally aware of how your firm is performing can help to set your expectations appropriately. At the end of the day though, the faster that you're promoted, the more valuable and higher price you are for clients. And so the more revenue that you generate for your firm. So your company wants to promote you just as fast as you want to be promoted. And if you really are ready to be promoted, then it's within both yours and your company's interests to promote you. So those are my 5 rules for being promoted as rapidly as possible. Rule 1, always prioritize your client work. Rule 2, demonstrate already the behaviors at the career level above yours. Rule 3, and this is an important one, know how to tell your career story. And remember, I have a more detailed video on that one if you want to dig a little bit more into it. Rule 4, know the people who will be involved in the performance review process in each of the different phases. And Rule 5, Be aware of the external factors that might affect your promotion. I hope that these rules help you work the performance review process in your favour. And if you found this insightful, then let me know by clicking the like button. If you'd like to see what I post next, then definitely subscribe to my channel. Social media links are below if you'd like those. And if you have any questions or comments, then feel free to use the comments section below and I will do my best to answer absolutely everything. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for listening and I wish you all the best with your exploring.